Perturabo, the Primarch of the Iron Warriors Legion, is a figure of immense talent and crushing tragedy within the Warhammer 40k verse. Known for his unparalleled skill in siege warfare and fortification, he was a master of logistics and a pragmatist to the core. Yet despite his brilliance, Perturabo ultimately succumbed to the corrupting influence of chaos, becoming a demon prince dedicated to the ruinous powers. Understanding his fall is not a simple matter of tracing a single event, but rather examining a confluence of factors: his upbringing, his inherent personality flaws, the systemic injustices he faced, and the manipulative forces of chaos itself. This deep dive will explore the complex web of reasons that led Perturabo, the Lord of Iron, down the dark path to damnation. Greetings all, I'm your guide, the Archivist. Today I'll dive into an overview of why Perturabo fell to chaos. Before we begin, please make sure to like the like and subscribe waypoints down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. Perturabo's early life on the harsh mountainous world of Olympia played a crucial role in shaping his grim outlook. Adopted by the tyrant Daemonhood, he was quickly recognized for his prodigious intellect and strategic acumen. He surpassed his adoptive father in both intellect and military prowess, rapidly climbing the ranks and becoming a key figure in Olympia's complex political landscape. This early exposure to the cutthroat world of tyrannical rule instilled in him a pragmatic, even cynical view of power and loyalty. He saw firsthand how easily trust could be betrayed and how quickly strength could be usurped. His inherent intellectual curiosity led him to explore forbidden knowledge and technology, earning him the suspicion of some and the admiration of others. He possessed an insatiable desire to understand the underlying mechanics of everything, a trait that would later manifest in his meticulous approach to warfare and, eventually, his fascination with the forbidden knowledge of chaos. This thirst for knowledge, coupled with the understanding that power resided in strength and control, laid the groundwork for his eventual downfall. He learned to value efficiency and results above all else, often at the expense of the human cost. These formative experiences profoundly shaped Perturabo's character, fostering a deep-seated resentment and a sense of isolation. When the Emperor rediscovered Perturabo, he was placed in command of the 4th Legion, the Iron Warriors. They quickly became known for their expertise in siege warfare, their unflinching resolve, and their mastery of brutal attrition tactics. Perturabo excelled in tasks that other legions shunned, such as grinding down heavily fortified positions and holding defensive fronts against overwhelming odds. He understood the mathematics of war, the logistics of supply lines, and the psychology of the defender. He was a master architect, not only for fortresses but also of strategies designed to break the will of the enemy. However, Perturabo also inherited and amplified certain flaws. He was intensely proud, bordering on arrogant, and deeply sensitive to perceived slights. He craved recognition for his contribution, yet felt consistently undervalued and underappreciated by the Emperor and his fellow Primarchs. This resentment festered within him, fueling a bitterness that poisoned his judgment. He saw himself as a builder, a creator of order, but was constantly relegated to the role of a destroyer, a breaker of sieges. This dissonance between his self-image and his perceived role within the Imperium contributed significantly to his growing disillusionment. Furthermore, Perturabo lacked the charisma and the diplomatic skills of many of his brothers. He struggled to connect with his legion on an emotional level, preferring to lead warriors through cold logic and ruthless efficiency. This created a dissonance between him and the Iron Warriors, making them loyal out of duty and respect rather than genuine affection. This lack of connection proved detrimental, as it left him vulnerable to the insidious whispers of chaos, which preyed on his feelings of isolation and resentment. The details were often overlooked by Perturabo in favour of cold, hard facts. The Iron Warriors were consistently assigned the most grueling and thankless tasks during the Great Crusade. They were deployed to worlds that were already ravaged by war, tasked for holding defensive lines against relentless Xenos attacks, and ordered to endure sieges that lasted for years with minimal support or recognition. This constant demand for attrition warfare took a heavy toll on the Legion, both physically and psychologically. The Iron Warriors suffered immense casualties, and their ranks were often replenished with conscripts of questionable quality, further diluting their combat effectiveness and straining their morale. Perturabo felt responsible for the well-being of his sons, but he was often powerless to alleviate their suffering. His requests for reinforcements and resources were frequently ignored, and his strategic insights were often dismissed by his superiors. This perceived indifference from the Emperor and the Imperial High Command cemented his belief that he and his legion were being deliberately exploited. The constant exposure to brutal warfare and the feeling of being betrayed by the Imperium created a fertile ground for the seeds of chaos to take root. The influence of Angron, the Primarch of the World Eaters, and his infamous Butcher's Nails implants also played a role. Angron, driven mad by the nails, sought to inflict his pain on others. His influence, coupled with the brutal reality of the Great Crusade, further desensitized Perturabo and the Iron Warriors to the value of human life. The details of their suffering, the cries for help, became background noise, further hardening their hearts. The breaking point for Perturabo came with the uprising on Olympia. During the Great Crusade, Perturabo had left his homeworld under the control of his sister, Callista Eris. When he returned, he discovered that Olympia had regressed into a state of corruption and decadence. Disgusted by what he saw, Perturabo ordered a brutal purge of the population, resulting in the slaughter of millions. This act, while seemingly motivated by a desire to restore order, was a clear indication of his descent into moral bankruptcy. The Emperor, horrified by the scale of the massacre, dispatched Rogel Dawn and the Imperial Fist to investigate. However, before Dawn could arrive, Horus, already corrupted by chaos, contacted Perturabo and offered him a place within his rebellion. Sensing an opportunity to finally gain the recognition he craved and to enact revenge upon the Imperium that had wronged him, Perturabo accepted Horus's offer. He led the Iron Warriors in the Horus Heresy, unleashing their siege expertise upon the Loyalist worlds. While initially driven by a desire for revenge and a belief that Horus offered a better path for humanity, Perturabo gradually fell under the sway of chaos. The promises of power and the allure of forbidden knowledge proved too tempting to resist. He delved deeper into the arcane arts, seeking to understand the workings of the warp and to harness its power for his own purposes. Ultimately, Perturabo achieved a measure of what he desired, albeit in a twisted and corrupted form. He became a demon prince of chaos, ascending to immortality and gaining immense power. However, his victory was Pyrrhic. He became trapped within the Eye of Terror, forever bound to the service of the ruinous powers. He continues to wage war against the Imperium, driven by his hatred and his desire to tear down everything that the Emperor created. His existence as a demon prince is a testament to the corrosive influence of chaos and the destructive consequences of unchecked ambition and resentment. He had also become the architect of ruin, the master of siege warfare in the service of the dark gods, forever trapped in a cycle of violence and destruction. The fall of Perturabo is a complex and multifaceted tragedy. It is a story of a brilliant mind driven to madness by a combination of inherent flaws, systemic injustice, and the corrupting influence of chaos. He was a victim of his own pride and insecurity, as well as the indifference of the Imperium and the manipulative machinations of Horus and the Chaos Gods. Each detail contributed to the overall picture. Perturabo's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the importance of recognition and appreciation, and the seductive power of the dark side. He was a Primarch who could have been a force for good, but instead he became a symbol of destruction and despair. His legacy is a reminder that even the most talented and capable individual can be corrupted by bitterness, resentment, and the allure of forbidden power. He remains a tragic figure, a testament to the devastating consequences of a fall from grace. And so I have now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waypoints down below. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.